Until it's been to an approved body shop, I can't get it in. I'm so sorry.
Still the same. Ferrari have finally responded to me after last time when they refused to work on the 296, which won't start.
For most people, rebuilding a crashed car sounds difficult. Rebuilding a multi-million-dollar hypercar after the manufacturer has effectively closed every door in front of you sounds impossible. Yet that is exactly the reputation Matt Armstrong has spent years building. Time and again, he has taken vehicles that insurance companies wrote off, manufacturers gave up on, and most mechanics would never touch, then turned them into some of the most watched automotive projects on YouTube. What began as a simple passion for fixing cars has evolved into something much bigger. Today, some of the world's most influential automotive brands know exactly who he is, and some have even found themselves responding directly to his projects. Long before the supercars, the sponsorships, and the millions of subscribers, Matt Armstrong was simply a kid spending time in his father's garage. Watching his dad work on vehicles gave him an education that no classroom could provide. Cars became second nature. Surprisingly, however, his first serious career had nothing to do with automotive restoration. He pursued professional BMX riding and competed internationally under a Mad Gear Pro sponsorship. Events across Europe and the Middle East seemed to point toward a promising future until a devastating shoulder injury changed everything. The damage became so severe that his shoulder would dislocate unexpectedly, even while sleeping. Continuing at a professional level was no longer realistic. What followed was far from glamorous. Matt worked multiple jobs just to stay afloat. He spent time at Halfords, worked shifts at Evans Cycles, and even balanced restaurant work at Spice 45 in Leicester, while pursuing mechanical jobs during the day. Many people see the success today but never see those years of uncertainty, long hours, and constant effort. He often worked 13-hour days simply trying to build a future. One of the most important steps came during his time at Graham Good Motors, a Ford performance specialist. There, he gained hands-on experience with performance vehicles and refined skills that would later become the foundation of his content. Around the same period, he launched a YouTube channel. The original goal was simple: create BMX content that could attract sponsors. For years, almost nothing happened. The channel existed, but there was no clear direction and very little audience growth. Everything changed because of an accident. Matt's girlfriend Hannah crashed her Audi TT on her way home from work. The insurance company declared it a total loss, but Matt saw an opportunity where others saw a dead end. He bought the car back for just £600, picked up a GoPro, and started documenting the repair process. There was no production team, no expensive equipment, and no elaborate plan. What viewers saw was genuine problem-solving. Car enthusiasts appreciated the technical accuracy, while casual viewers enjoyed watching something real unfold without scripts or television-style presentation. That Audi TT project gave the channel an identity. More importantly, it revealed something audiences were craving. They didn't want polished marketing. They wanted authenticity. They wanted to watch someone tackle difficult challenges and solve problems in real time. As the audience grew, Matt's projects became larger, riskier, and far more ambitious. Each successful rebuild reinforced the idea that cars written off by manufacturers and insurance companies might not be beyond saving after all. The project that elevated everything to another level involved one of the rarest hypercars on Earth. American creator Alex Gonzalez had crashed his Bugatti Chiron Sport, a vehicle worth well over $4 million when intact. After receiving an insurance payout, he bought the wreck back for approximately $1.9 million and turned to Matt Armstrong for help. The damage was extensive. Structural components were compromised. Carbon fiber panels were cracked. Airbags had deployed. Headlights were destroyed. Transmission mounts had suffered serious damage. Bugatti inspected the vehicle and concluded that it was effectively a total loss. The company reportedly quoted around $1.7 million in parts alone for a factory restoration. When that route was rejected, the situation became even more dramatic. Bugatti locked the vehicle's VIN within its dealer network, preventing dealerships from supplying official parts for that specific car. Suddenly, what was already one of the most difficult rebuilds imaginable became even harder. For many people, that would have been the end of the project. For Matt, it became another challenge. Working in Miami, the team relied on creativity rather than factory support. Components had to be reverse engineered. Damaged parts were scanned and converted into CAD models. Custom fabrication became essential. Every step required finding solutions where none officially existed. The rebuild became more than a repair project. It became a test of whether independent creators could overcome barriers traditionally controlled by manufacturers. The situation attracted enormous attention throughout the automotive world. Eventually, Mete Rimac, CEO of Bugatti Rimac, publicly addressed the project. He explained the company's concerns regarding safety and structural repairs on a vehicle of such complexity, while also making it clear that he respected Matt's work and enjoyed watching the content. For Matt, the moment was surreal. A hypercar CEO wasn't just aware of his channel. He was responding to it directly. Despite the obstacles, the project continued. The restrictions surrounding parts eventually eased, and after months of work, the Chiron Pursport came back to life. The first startup after the crash became one of the most talked about moments in Matt Armstrong's career. More importantly, the project proved something significant. Even when faced with resistance from one of the most exclusive manufacturers in the world, Matt had built enough influence, skill, and audience trust to keep moving forward. If the Bugatti project put him on the global automotive map, the next restoration proved that the industry's biggest names were no longer simply watching from a distance. They were beginning to get involved directly. That involvement became impossible to ignore when Matt purchased one of the most famous crashed luxury cars in British football. In September 2023, Manchester United star Marcus Rashford crashed his Mansory-modified Rolls-Royce Wraith Black badge after leaving training. Although nobody suffered serious injuries, the car was declared a total loss. Originally worth around £750,000, it quickly became another candidate for the type of restoration few people would even attempt. Matt secured the wreck at auction for £185,000, only to discover that the damage was worse than expected. The engine wouldn't start, key Mansory components were difficult to source, and the costs began climbing almost immediately. To make matters even more complicated, he eventually purchased a second Rolls-Royce Wraith as a donor vehicle, adding another £90,000 to the project. By the time everything was finished, more than £400,000 had been invested into bringing the car back to life. The challenges weren't limited to physical damage. A security system connected to the insurance process prevented the vehicle from being started normally. Then something unusual happened. Rashford's management team, who had been following the restoration online, reached out directly. They provided security information, spare parts, accessories, and even additional items that helped complete the rebuild. Instead of distancing themselves from the project, they supported it. The story became even more remarkable once the car was roadworthy. Kurosh Mansory, founder of the famous German tuning company responsible for the vehicle's modifications, learned about the restoration and invited Matt to bring the Rolls-Royce to Germany. What followed was a European road trip that eventually ended at Mansory headquarters. When Kurosh inspected the car, he identified several areas that weren't exactly how he would have done them. Instead of criticizing the project publicly, he spent time correcting those details himself. Wheels were replaced, panels were adjusted, and finishing touches were added. Matt left Germany with something few restoration projects ever achieve: approval from the very person who originally created the vehicle. That pattern kept repeating itself. First, Bugatti responded. Then Mansory became directly involved. Major names throughout the automotive world were paying attention. What made the situation unique wasn't simply Matt's ability to repair damaged cars. It was his ability to make millions of viewers care about the process. He transformed complicated engineering challenges into stories that felt accessible without losing their technical depth. This is where Toyota enters the picture. Toyota Gazoo Racing has spent years building one of the most respected performance programs in modern motorsport. The company has achieved success in endurance racing, rally competition, and performance road car development. Vehicles such as the GR86, GR Yaris, and GR Corolla have strengthened Toyota's reputation among enthusiasts, while its motorsport operations continue competing at the highest levels internationally. Unlike companies focused purely on advertising, Toyota's performance division is deeply connected to engineering. Its strategy revolves around developing drivers, engineers, mechanics, and technology over the long term. That philosophy naturally aligns with the audience Matt Armstrong has built. His viewers are not simply watching cars being repaired, they are watching engineering problems being solved. The possibility being discussed is unlike a traditional sponsorship. Instead of handing over a road car and requesting promotional content, the concept involves giving Matt access to one of Toyota Gazoo Racing's most advanced machines, the GR010 Hybrid. This is the hypercar Toyota has campaigned at the highest level of endurance racing. Powered by a twin-turbocharged 3.5-litre V6, combined with advanced hybrid technology, it represents some of the most sophisticated engineering in modern motorsport. Imagine the opportunity. Not a static display vehicle, not a showroom model, a genuine race-used machine carrying the marks of real competition. The assignment would be simple in theory, but incredibly ambitious in practice. Take it apart, understand every system, document the process, and explain it to millions of viewers. That approach would be fundamentally different from the situations involving Bugatti or Mansory. Those projects began after problems occurred. Toyota's involvement would begin at the start. Rather than limiting access, the company would be opening doors. Engineers who normally operate behind the scenes could explain how complex hybrid systems function. Aerodynamic specialists could discuss how race cars balance downforce and drag. Viewers could gain access to knowledge that rarely reaches the public. The value extends beyond Matt Armstrong himself. For Toyota, it represents a powerful way to communicate engineering excellence to an audience already interested in understanding how things work. For viewers, it creates content that cannot be replicated through traditional advertising. And for the automotive industry as a whole, it raises an important question about the future of manufacturer-creator relationships. Most partnerships today are straightforward promotional arrangements. A company provides a vehicle, a creator features it. The audience immediately recognizes the formula. What makes the Toyota scenario so compelling is that it offers something genuinely educational, technical, and collaborative. The manufacturer contributes access. The creator contributes storytelling. The audience gains insight that would otherwise remain hidden. Whether this exact collaboration ultimately happens or not, the larger point remains impossible to ignore. Matt Armstrong's journey from repairing a 600-pound Audi TT with a GoPro to becoming a creator acknowledged by hypercar CEOs and global automotive brands is extraordinary. Every project expanded his credibility. Every challenge increased his influence. Every rebuild reinforced the idea that expertise, persistence, and authenticity can open doors that money alone cannot. Years ago, he was simply documenting repairs because he enjoyed working on cars. Today, some of the biggest names in the automotive industry are watching what he does next. And if that trend continues, the next chapter may not be about restoring another crashed supercar. It may be about gaining access to the kind of engineering secrets manufacturers rarely allow the public to see. If that happens, everything that came before may look less like the main event and more like preparation for what comes next.